The moment their eyes met across the crowded restaurant, time seemed to freeze. Marcus Winters, now one of the wealthiest men in the country, felt his heart stop as he recognized the weathered face of the man carrying trays to the table next to his. Those same kind eyes that had looked down at him 20 years ago, on the worst night of his life. The night he'd almost given up everything. If you've ever wondered whether small acts of kindness can change lives forever, this story will show you just how powerful compassion can be. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible true stories that will restore your faith in humanity. It was supposed to be a routine business dinner at Billionaire's, one of the most exclusive restaurants in Manhattan. Marcus had reserved the private dining room to discuss a potential billion-dollar acquisition with his executive team. At 42, he had built Winter Enterprises from nothing into a global technology empire. Forbes had recently estimated his net worth at $8.7 billion, but numbers like that had long ceased to impress him. What did impress him was excellence, which was why he frequented Billionaire's. The service was always impeccable, the food divine. But tonight, something was off. Their usual server had been replaced by an older man, probably in his 60s, who moved with a slight limp and whose hands trembled almost imperceptibly as he poured the wine. "I apologize for the wait, gentlemen," the server said, his voice carrying a hint of exhaustion beneath its professional tone. "The chef is preparing your appetizers now." Marcus barely heard him. He was staring at the man's face, at the scar that ran along his right temple, at the crow's feet around eyes that still held the same warmth they had 2 decades ago. It couldn't be. And yet. "Ray?" Marcus asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The server paused, confused. He studied Marcus's face, and then recognition dawned slowly in his eyes. "My God," Ray breathed. "Marcus? Little Marcus Winters?" The executives around the table exchanged puzzled glances as their billionaire boss stood up abruptly, his napkin falling to the floor. "Everyone, please excuse me for a moment," Marcus said, not taking his eyes off Ray. He gestured toward a quiet corner of the room. Once they were alone, Marcus struggled to find words. "Ray, what are you doing here? Working as a server?" Ray's smile was tinged with embarrassment. "Life takes unexpected turns. I've been here about 6 months now. But you were a doctor. You had your own practice." Ray's eyes clouded. "That was a long time ago, son." The word son hit Marcus like a physical blow. No one had called him that in years, and certainly not with the genuine affection Ray infused into that simple word. 20 years earlier, Marcus had been a homeless 22-year-old, sleeping on park benches after aging out of the foster care system and dropping out of community college. His few possessions had been stolen, and he'd been beaten so badly he could barely walk. It was Ray who had found him huddled in an alley behind his medical practice, bleeding and ready to end it all. Instead of calling the police or simply walking by like so many others had, Ray had brought Marcus inside, cleaned his wounds, and listened to his story. Then he'd done something that changed the course of Marcus's life forever. He'd believed in him. "You have a brilliant mind," Ray had told him after their long conversation. "You just need a chance to prove it." Ray had given him that chance. He'd let Marcus sleep on the couch in his office for 2 weeks, helped him get a job at a local tech repair shop, and even paid for him to take night classes. All this while raising his young son alone after his wife had died of cancer. "What happened to your practice?" Marcus asked now, his mind racing with calculations and possibilities. Ray sighed. "My son, David, he developed a rare form of leukemia about 10 years ago. The treatments, well, insurance only covered so much. I sold the practice, then our house. He's in remission now, thank God, but at 25, he's still dealing with the after-effects. I work here to help pay for his ongoing care and to help him finish college." Marcus felt something crack inside him. All these years, he'd tried to find Ray to thank him, to repay him for his kindness, but the clinic had closed, and Ray had seemingly vanished. And now here he was, serving tables to make ends meet while Marcus dined in private rooms and closed billion-dollar deals. "Ray, I've been looking for you for years," Marcus said, his voice thick with emotion. "Everything I have, everything I've become, it's because of you. You saved my life that night." Ray shook his head. "You saved yourself, Marcus. I just gave you a place to start." "Sir?" One of the other servers approached hesitantly. "The manager is asking about the delay with table 7. Ray straightened his posture. "I need to get back to work. It was wonderful seeing you, Marcus. I'm so proud of what you've accomplished." "Wait," Marcus said, reaching for his phone. "Give me your number. Please." Ray hesitated, then recited his number, which Marcus quickly saved. "I'll call you tomorrow," Marcus promised. "There's so much I want to talk to you about." As Ray returned to his duties, Marcus rejoined his executives, but his mind was elsewhere. The acquisition they were discussing suddenly seemed trivial compared to what he'd just discovered. The next morning, Marcus canceled all his meetings and had his driver take him to the address Ray had given him when they spoke on the phone. It was a small apartment in a rundown building in Queens. Marcus, dressed in jeans and a simple button-down shirt rather than his usual tailored suit, felt strangely nervous as he knocked on the door. Ray opened it, surprise evident on his face. "Marcus, I didn't expect you to come in person." "I wanted to see where you live," Marcus said simply. The apartment was clean but cramped. Photos of a young man who must be David adorned the walls, showing his progression from a smiling child to a thin, pale teenager in a hospital bed, to a young adult in a graduation cap. "David's at physical therapy," Ray explained. "He still struggles with mobility after the intensive chemo." Marcus nodded, taking it all in. "Ray, I want to help you. Both of you." Ray's expression grew guarded. "We're managing, Marcus. I didn't tell you about our situation to ask for charity." "It's not charity," Marcus insisted. "It's repayment of a debt. You invested in me when I had nothing to offer. Let me invest in David now." Over the next hour, they talked. Really talked. Marcus learned that Ray had been working double shifts at the restaurant, that David's medical bills still totaled over $300,000 despite insurance, and that Ray's own health was beginning to fail from the stress and physical demands of his job. When David returned home, Marcus was struck by how much he resembled his father, the same kind eyes, the same quiet dignity despite the obvious pain he was in as he maneuvered his walker through the door. "David, this is Marcus Winters," Ray introduced them. "An old friend." Recognition flashed in David's eyes. "The Marcus Winters? The tech guy?" Marcus smiled. "That's me." "Dad, you never told me you knew Marcus Winters." Ray shrugged. "It was a long time ago. I helped him out once, that's all." "He's being modest," Marcus said. "Your father saved my life and gave me the foundation for everything I've built." He turned to Ray. "Which is why I have a proposal for both of you." The proposal was simple but life-changing. Marcus would pay off all of David's medical debt. He would also establish a foundation in Ray's name to help young people aging out of foster care, with Ray as the director, at a salary that would allow him to quit his server job immediately. Additionally, he would fund a full scholarship for David to complete his education and provide the best medical care available for his ongoing recovery. "I can't accept this," Ray protested, overwhelmed. "You can, and you will," Marcus said firmly. 20 years ago, you taught me that sometimes we need to accept help to move forward. Now it's your turn to learn that lesson." David, with tears in his eyes, placed a hand on his father's shoulder. "Dad, you've sacrificed everything for me. Please, let someone do this for you, for us." 3 months later, the Raymond Carter Foundation opened its doors in a renovated building in Brooklyn. Its mission, to provide medical care, housing, education, and mentorship to young adults transitioning out of foster care. Ray, now its executive director, had already hired a staff of social workers, educators, and medical professionals. David, his health improving under the care of specialists Marcus had connected them with, was finishing his degree in social work and helping part-time at the foundation. And Marcus? He found himself spending more and more time there, mentoring young people who reminded him so much of himself at their age. His executive team was baffled by his new schedule, but Marcus had never felt more fulfilled. On the day of the foundation's official ribbon-cutting ceremony, reporters gathered to capture the moment. One particularly persistent journalist pushed through the crowd. "Mr. Winters, is it true that you've donated over $50 million to this foundation? What's your connection to Dr. Carter?" Marcus looked at Ray, who stood proudly beside him despite the cane he now used, and then at the group of young adults who would be the first to benefit from the foundation's programs. "Ray Carter once told me that the measure of a person isn't in what they accumulate, but in what they give back," Marcus said. 20 years ago, he gave me hope when I had none. Today, we're extending that same hope to others. As they cut the ribbon together, Marcus felt a sense of completion. His wealth had brought him power and privilege, but it was only now, standing beside the man who had believed in him when he was nothing, that he understood the true purpose of success. That night, after the celebrations had ended and the last of the staff had gone home, Marcus and Ray sat alone in Ray's new office. "I never thought I'd see you again," Ray admitted. "Let alone like this. Life has a way of bringing people back together when they're meant to be in each other's lives," Marcus replied. "I spent years trying to find you, you know. I wanted to thank you properly." Ray smiled. "And now you have. Though I still think you've gone overboard." Marcus laughed. "Maybe. But there's one more thing I haven't told you." He pulled out a folder and slid it across the desk. "I've been doing some research into new treatments for post-leukemia complications like David's. There's a clinic in Switzerland that's having remarkable results with a therapy they've developed." Ray opened the folder, scanning the medical information with his trained eye. "This looks promising, but—" "David starts treatment next month," Marcus interrupted. "It's all arranged. The doctors believe he could make a full recovery." Ray's hands trembled as he set down the papers. For a moment, he couldn't speak. "Why?" he finally asked. "Why do all this for us?" Marcus leaned forward, his eyes intense. "Because 20 years ago, I was ready to end my life in that alley. I had nothing and no one. But you showed me that I mattered, that I deserved a chance. You gave me hope, Ray. And hope is the most powerful force in the world." Ray nodded, understanding. "So this foundation is about creating hope," Marcus finished. "For kids who are where I was. And for people like you, who want to help but don't have the resources." As they sat in comfortable silence, Marcus reflected on the strange journey that had brought him here. From homeless and hopeless to a billionaire, and now to this moment of perfect clarity about what truly mattered. The next morning, as he watched Ray working with the foundation's first group of young adults, Marcus knew he had finally found what all his wealth had never been able to buy: purpose. And it had come from the most unexpected place: a chance encounter with a server at a restaurant, a man who had once shown kindness to a desperate young man with nothing to offer in return. Sometimes, the most important investments aren't the ones that make you money, but the ones that make you whole. And as Marcus Winters had discovered, the return on those investments could change not just one life, but countless others for generations to come. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Remember, you never know how a simple act of kindness might change someone's life forever. Sometimes, the person you help today might be the one who changes the world tomorrow.